day everyone, especially to my instructor in CAF2. For today's video, I'm going to answer those questions in Lesson 6 that must be given by our instructor, Mamel Juan B. Dizon. So now, the question number 1 is, based on the discussion, what is the difference between light-dependent and light-independent reactions? So in stage 1, light reactions, which is light-dependent reactions, the solar energy is converted into chemical energy. In stage 2, Calvin cycle, which is light-independent reactions, it uses the chemical energy produced from stage 1 to build G3P, the precursor to glucose and other molecules. Both of these stages occur inside one of the organelles found in plant cells, which are called chloroplasts. And there are around 30 to 40 of them per cell. So, question number 2. What are protons absorbed and utilized in the first stage of photosynthesis? So, photosynthesis occurs in 2 stages. During the first stage, the energy from sunlight is absorbed by the chloroplast. Water is used and oxygen is produced during this part of the process. So this is where carbon dioxide is used to produce glucose. The second part of photosynthesis, where are protons used in photosynthesis? Thylakoid, as electrons are transported through the complex protons. Outside the thylakoid are carried the inner thylakoid space. The increase in a proton concentration inside the thylakoid space creates a portion gradient across the thylakoid membrane. So, in step 1, in photosystem 2, electrons or red cycle flow beginning made the primary electron acceptor through a series of compounds that are embedded in the thylakoid membrane, sort of like the electron transport chain from cellular respiration. So the movement of electrons is represented by the red arrows. Next, ATP or adenosine triphosphate will be a byproduct of this process due to a proton gradient and ATP synthase side, just like a cellular respiration. ATP synthase is an enzyme localized in the thylakoid membrane of chloroplasts, where it catalyzes the synthesis of ATP from ADP and inorganism phosphate. So in step 2, electrons will move through photosynthesis 1, another electron transport chain, but instead of producing ATP, photosystem I will result in the conversion of nicotinamide adenine nucleotide phosphate. So the light reactions in the thylakoid, which are summarized by the equation above, requires sunlight and water among the reactions, and it is generate oxygen, ATP and ADPH as products. So the question number 3, summarize the process of light reactions and Calvin cycle. Now, it is a light-dependent reactions which take place in the thylakoid membrane use light energy to make ATP and NADPH. The Calvin cycle, which takes place in the stroma, uses energy derived from these compounds to make Ga3P from CO2. The light reactions provide the Calvin cycle with oxygen for carbon fixation, and the Calvin cycle provides the light reactions with the sugars to produce ATP. The light reactions provide ATP and NADPH to the carbon fixation steps of Calvin cycle, and the Calvin cycle provides water and electrons to the light reactions. So the Calvin cycle is process that plants and algae use to turn carbon dioxide from the air into sugar. The food autotrophs need to grow. And also the energy to fuel chemical reactions in this sugar generating process is provided by ATP and NADPH chemical compounds which contain the energy plants have captured from sunlight.